Welcome to the Deep Dive. Do you ever find yourself just wishing for a bit more calm? Especially when life feels like a whirlwind.
hmm That feeling of wanting some real solid peace that doesn't just vanish when things get tough.
Exactly. And, well, that's what we're exploring today. This deep dive is really for you, the learner, looking for that.
Yeah, we're focusing specifically on lesson 188 from A Course in Miracles. It's the one that says, "The peace of God is shining in me now."
Such a powerful line. So our mission today is to unpack that, right? Not just understand the words, but explore what it really feels like for that peace to be active right here, right now.
Right. Something you can actually connect with, regardless of what's happening around you. It's about experiencing it.
Absolutely. And to help us really get into it, our expert is here. We've been looking at a few sources. A Course in Miracles lesson 188 explained, the
hmm
workbook lesson itself, the study guide, and the original test. Welcome.
Glad to be here.
Okay, so let's jump right in. The peace of God is shining in me now.
Hmm.
It sounds lovely, beautiful even, but what's the core idea behind it?
Well, the fundamental concept, and it comes through in all the sources, is that peace isn't something you have to chase after or create from scratch.
Okay.
It's actually inherent. It's already in you. It's not about external things being perfect.
Right.
It's more like a reflection of something deeper, a connection, maybe a divine spark that's just part of your being.
So less about earning peace and more about recognizing it, like it's our natural state.
Exactly. It's always available, just waiting to be acknowledged. That's the big shift.
That feels pretty significant. Why is this specific lesson, 188, seen as so important in the course?
Well, it's significant because of that shift in focus you just mentioned. It actively directs you away from looking outside yourself for peace.
You mean like looking for it in success or relationships or hoping problems just go away?
Precisely. Lesson 188 says, hold on, look inward. And the sources really emphasize that this recognition, this turning inward, is what builds that unshakable sense of calm.
Unshakable, even when life throws curveballs.
Mm-hmm. That's the promise. A serenity that isn't really dependent on the ups and downs playing out externally. It's moving from seeking peace to just finding it within.
Okay, that idea of peace shining even when things are messy, that's really compelling.
Yeah.
One of the sources mentioned it doesn't mean external problems just poof, disappear.
Right. It's not about pretending challenges aren't there.
Yeah, but that your inner state can stay peaceful despite them.
Yeah.
How does that actually work in practice?
It's kind of about understanding different levels of reality, you could say.
Right.
Think about the ocean. On the surface, you might have huge waves, storms, total chaos, right?
Sure.
But if you go deep down, beneath the surface, there's this incredible stillness. It's calm.
Okay, I get the image.
So this lesson is inviting you to identify with that deep underlying stillness within yourself, that inherent peace that the surface storms of life, the daily stresses and dramas, can't actually touch.
So don't deny the storm, but connect with the deep calm underneath it.
Exactly. Recognizing that deeper reality as being more fundamentally you.
Wow. Okay, that's a powerful way to think about it. So how do we actually do that? Moving from just understanding this idea to feeling that peace. The sources mention practical things.
Yes, definitely. And these are crucial for making it real, not just a nice theory. Meditation is a big one. And it's suggested not necessarily as emptying the mind, but focusing on this peace as a light. The lesson says shining. Visualize it like a light inside you, gently lighting up any fear or darkness.
Okay, like an inner lamp.
Sort of. And then there's mindfulness, which can be super simple. Like in a stressful moment, just closing your eyes for a second, taking a deep breath, and intentionally remembering that quiet place inside. It can really shift things.
Like hitting an internal pause button. I can see how useful that would be. What else did the sources suggest?
Well, affirmations are mentioned. Simple phrases like repeating, "The peace of God is within me," especially when you feel uncertain or worried. It helps reinforce the idea.
Bringing it back to mind.
Yeah. And journaling, too. You could write about times you did feel peaceful. Even briefly, what was going on, what triggered it, how could you maybe invite that feeling more often?
Reflecting on your own experience of it.
Exactly. And one more, which I found interesting, was acts of kindness.
Kindness? How does that connect?
The idea seems to be that when you extend peace or kindness outwards, you're sort of activating it or recognizing it within yourself at the same time. Sharing reinforces it internally.
Oh, okay. Like giving it away helps you feel it more yourself. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So let's connect this back. How does doing these things, connecting with this inner peace, actually change how we deal with, say, a difficult boss or a sudden unexpected bill, those external challenges.
That's really where the rubber meets the road, isn't it? When you start from that inner reservoir of peace, your reactions can change fundamentally.
How so?
Instead of immediately getting triggered, getting stressed, or angry, you have a different foundation. You're anchored. So you might still need to deal with the difficult boss or the bill.
Right, the problem doesn't just vanish.
No. But you approach it from a calmer, more centered place. Your actions come from that peace, rather than from, panic or frustration or fear. It changes the whole dynamic.
So you're responding rather than just reacting impulsively, choosing your starting point internally.
You got it. That's the essence of it.
And what's the bigger picture here? What's the ultimate goal of practicing Lesson 188, of really trying to live this idea?
The ultimate aim, as one source puts it, is really about cultivating a more harmonious way of being in the world, a lasting sense of inner tranquility. It's about consistently recognizing that this peace isn't some future reward you get if you do everything right. It's here, now, shining. It's a presence to acknowledge, not a destination to reach.
Peace as presence, not pursuit. I like that. So the big takeaway really is the peace we often look for out there. It's not out there.
Nope.
It's already inside, shining right now. And the work, the practice, is just learning to tune in, to recognize that inner light, especially when the outside world feels, well, dark or stormy.
Precisely. And it doesn't have to be some huge undertaking. Just experimenting, maybe picking one of those practices, the breathing, the affirmation, whatever resonates, and consciously turning your attention inward for a few moments each day. That's how you start to feel it more tangibly.
Building that connection.
Yeah. Cultivating that awareness of the peace that's already yours.
So closing thought maybe for you, the learner listening right now, just consider, how might your day-to-day life actually shift? How might it feel different if you truly embrace this idea that your deepest, most real peace isn't dependent on anything outside of you, but is actually a light shining inside you right this second?
It's a powerful question to sit with.
It really is. Well, thank you for taking this deep dive with us today, and thank you to our expert for shedding so much light on this lesson.
My pleasure.
We hope this was valuable, and do let us know what other areas you might want to explore in future deep dives. Until next time.